What's going on, everybody? Gentleman94 here. Welcome back to TwinBrit here on Ben Builds. This is episode number 7 of the Bristol Beaufighter, and I am loving this kit. This thing has been so much fun to build. So today, I want to go ahead and try to push this and get this thing ready for paint. That means I want to go ahead and prime this thing. I'm going to be using a NATO Black XF69 by Tamiya. I love this paint. And we're going to be overcoating the entire kit in that paint. I also have to do a little bit of work, mask off certain areas. I also want to hollow out a few pipes here on the exhaust. Then we'd have to take the canopy, which is all painted and ready to go. We're going to take that, glue it down, and then we'll be able to overcoat the entire kit in the NATO Black. Shouldn't be too difficult to do. The guns, the antennas, stuff like that we'll have yet to put on. And we might put a few of those on today, but not everything. So first thing I want to go ahead and do here is I want to open up these two pipes. Now they come out of the exhaust, the front of the exhaust here. We're going to hollow those out with the X-Acto knife. What we're going to do is I'm just going to make a general dimple in each of the middle of these pipes. Then I'm going to take a smaller drill bit that I have in the end of my pin vise, and we're just going to hollow those out. I'm not going to go too deep into the plastic. I just want to give it a nice impression to add a little bit of excitement, a little bit of energy to this little area right here. Plus, all the reference photos I've seen all have these pipes open. Now, there's also additional pipes on the backside of these exhaust ports, but we'll get to those later. This is how it looks right here with one of them done. I have one more to go on this side and then two more on the other side. Plus, we have to do the other ends of the exhaust stubs. Should be pretty simple to do though. Same theory. Quick shot with the X-Acto, come in there with the drill bit, hollow it out. So, let's get going. I think that looks so cool. I'm very happy with how that turned out. So we're going to shift gears over there and we're going to actually attach the wing rockets. Now each of the wing has these, I guess, some sort of a pad that all the rockets kind of hook into. And we have to go ahead and make sure these locating pins are actually going to fit. I opened up 2 holes back a couple episodes back towards the beginning of this whole series, and they're actually too small. We're going to round them out a little bit more. Want to make sure these really fit down onto the wing. So let's just test this out. See how this works. Fit the top pin right there, and let's fit the bottom pin right there. Perfect. Now that looks decent. So we're going to take some glue, then install the other side of the wing as well. That one went on without really much issue. We have it ready to go. We're going to drop a little bit of glue around this as well. A little extra thin Tamiya. We should be good to go. So let's go ahead and take those rockets off of the sprue. I haven't actually opened these up yet. We're going to build all the rockets and get those things ready. We also have to go ahead and pull off the propellers as well, both the right and left side of the propellers. We need to go ahead and pull those, clean those up. So let's go ahead, jump into a time lapse and finish off the rockets and get the propellers all ready to go. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the canopy. Now, the canopy was originally masked and then airbrushed over with that RAF interior green. I'm hoping that's correct. So let's go ahead and test fit this and see how it looks. Actually, it looks pretty decent. So we're going to take a little bit of our white glue with our toothpick, and we're going to just draw that all around the canopy itself. Right, like that. And we'll draw it up around the top. And make sure this is nice and covered around the front as well. A little bit more. The nice thing about this stuff is it's water soluble. So if you get it on anything, you can just wipe it off with a wet cloth. So that is perfect. Now I know there's something called micro crystal clear. I haven't tried that, but I've heard that it's very similar to white glue. The thing is, white glue is a ton cheaper. So I'm just going to stick with the white glue for now. All right, let's go ahead and test fit this canopy right down on top. There we are. Nice. All right, that looks pretty decent. Yep. Take off some of the excess glue on that side. Yeah, looking nice. Let's go ahead and attach the top hatch as well. I don't know if I'm going to keep this open or closed, but right now we'll just tack it on. Now the back gunner position, I'm not actually going to install that cockpit canopy. I'm actually just going to shove some paper towel down inside of that to go ahead and seal off that area. So I can come back and I can airbrush over top of it. The reason I'm doing this is because there's a machine gun that sticks out front of that. So we're just going to leave it off, paint it off the model. Moving on, let's go ahead and do the exact same thing with the front of the engines. I'm going to use a paper towel again. Just going to shove that in there and get these things nice and protected from overspray. Same thing with the other side of the nacelle. I want to get this thing also nice and protected. This is actually really easy to do, and it's a simple, quick way. I will have to come back and probably touch up certain areas, but that's okay. That's fine. Let's just push on, get this thing ready to go, because I really want to get some primer on this aircraft. Let's go ahead and move on to the wheelbase. I want to make sure that the wheelbase are also protected just as much as I protected the front of the engines. With the landing gears, I'm just going to take a little bit of tape. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom of the landing gears themselves. I want to use the paper towel to cover the inside of the wheel wells and the tip of the landing gears to be covered with tape. I think that's going to be the best way to go ahead and cover this up. Let's go ahead and hit the other side as well. Again, just using some paper towel, not a problem. I'm going to take some of this blue tape, wrap it around this landing gear leg, and we are basically ready to start painting. Now, before I go ahead and bring out the NATO black, I wanted to go ahead and install some of the antennas. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down using a little bit of extra thin Tamiya. 1 drop will do. There are 2 antennas. They're circular. There's a front one, which is a little larger, and the back one, which is a little smaller. So not too bad, but still, I want to get those in before I go ahead and airbrush everything. Tweezers, I'm going to straighten this out, get this thing looking the part. I also have the rear antenna to do as well. So let me cut that off the sprue and get this thing glued down. One thing I did notice, guys, is that I have a little bit of a seam right back here. So I'm going to be using some of my extra thin CA glue. And I'm going to just draw the CA glue right along this seam. That should help to go ahead and seal that up and give it a nice smooth finish. I'll have to sand it, but that's okay. Better now than after I painted the model. I'm going to use a Q-tip as well. We're going to go ahead and make sure there isn't a huge puddle of this stuff. All right, couple of swipes with the jeweler file should clean this up, no problem. Now, ideally, I should have done this before I glued on the antennas. My bad, guys. I really should have done that before. I think if I be careful, I can get through this without busting anything off, which is honestly my goal here. I don't want to break any of the antennas off. I want to get this thing nice and smooth and move on with the next section. All right. This is it, guys. We've got our XF69 NATO black all thinned up, ready to go. I'm using the isopropyl alcohol 70%. Let's go ahead and jump in on this kit. We're just going to start on the side of the fuselage. Got all the stuff masked off. I think we're ready to go. So let's jump into a time lapse and get this thing painted. It's going to be a long one, but bear with me. We'll see how it looks when it's done. Ooh, man, that was a lot of paint, guys, but we are done for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here on the TwinBrit. Thank you so much for joining us. Next episode, we'll finish this bad boy off. Friday should be the final reveal. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you back here next week. Until then, guys, keep building, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.